It's that time of the week. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I've had a fascination with the Japanese town of Onomichi since 2015. It's a small coastal town with lots of temples, streets, and alleyways. The back streets are a maze of paths with many discoveries to make. The reason why I was so interested in this semi-obscure, tranquil town is that this town is the backdrop for many of Nobuhiko Obayashi's movies. He's the guy that directed Hausu. These films include The Little Girl Who Conquered Time, Tenkusei, and Lonely Heart. I got the chance to go to the city in 2023. Before I did, I watched his films again and made screenshots. Could I find these places in Onomichi? Well, let's see. We start at the bottom of Onomichi where we find the lone record store. I'm a Japanese record guy. Then I start walking aimlessly and find a cinema museum. Before long, I bump into the temple that is used for Nobuhiko Obayashi's Tenkusei, aka exchange students. In the film, the two students fall down the stairs and they swap bodies. However, it's not a good idea that I attempt this. There was only an old lady nearby. While scouting for locations, I found a back street that led up the mountain. It was very steep, but a truly peaceful, solitary walk. At the top, there was a lookout tower where I could see the magnificent view of Onomichi. Over the river is the starting point of the legendary Shin-Minami Kaido bicycle ride. And yes, that is the bicycle ride I almost died on the next day. After some searching, I managed to find this rock. No, this rock. This rock is so significant because it's a part of the film Tenkusei Exchange Students, where they realize that they cannot swap back bodies and they talk about it. I did sit on the rock like them. There's another really amazing viewpoint up the mountain. It's this giant random bridge-like structure. The view from the platform is absolutely stunning and left me speechless. On the way down, I walked past some temples and I walked through Cat Alley. It's an alley of cats. I couldn't find any more Obayashi backdrops, but I had a truly amazing time. This town charmed me so much. I am super charmed. Personally, it's a 10 out of 10 location that exceeded my expectations. Check it out. Here are my top 3 film endings of all time. Let's go. Number 3, we have Spoorloos, aka The Vanishing, from 1988, directed by George Slizu. Saskia has been abducted and her boyfriend Rex tries to find her. After 3 years, he gets postcards from the abductor, stating he knows exactly where she is. After meeting the abductor, Rex has a decision to make. The ultimatum is that if he drinks this cup of water, he will find out what happened to his girlfriend. But if he doesn't, he'll never know. So in a crazed and desperate state, he drinks the cup. He then wakes up in a coffin underground. Oh dear. Number 2, we have My Sons from 1991, directed by Yoji Yamada. After a recently widowed father visits his 2 sons in the city, he returns to his countryside home in the middle of harsh winter. The snow is unforgiving, and after making his way up to his house, he sits down in a vacant, dark living room. A light appears and he looks up to the light to see his family as they were 20 years prior. His wife and parents alive. His children happy and together. After giving out the presents, he realizes that this isn't real and the room returns to its dark state. He is left lonesome once more. Meanwhile, I'm crying like a baby. Number 1, we have Nobuhiko Obayashi's Bound for the Hills, the Mountain and the Seacoast from 1986. Set in 1945 during the Second World War, it follows the children of a village as they fall in love and play games. It's a joyful, playful movie apart from the end where 2 of the main characters get killed. The film suddenly turns black and white. A dreamlike epilogue begins where the children are called to enlist in the Second World War. The children pull the rope, causing the elders to fall into the hole one by one. This was one last prank. Finally, the camera zooms out to reveal that the atomic bomb has struck. There's a UK TV show from the 70s which is sometimes described as Monty Python for children. It's called The Goodies and features a scientist boffin, a posh twerp, and a scruffy oik as they do jobs for money. Anything, anywhere, anytime. It's a very silly show, and the episode I'm talking about today is called The End. Why am I talking about this? It's because I think this episode is somewhat pathetic, talking about events that are culturally relevant today. Kind of. It's funny, it's brilliant, and actually it's also incredibly problematic. You'll find out why, just wait. Set in Kew Gardens, it starts with them discussing the Kew Gardens redevelopment scheme. By building giant slabs of concrete over the gardens.
Do you realise the rent on that place is going to be £4,000 per square foot? And that's per minute.
Nobody can afford that, can they?
Well, of course they can't, so there's no point wasting money putting doors and windows in, is there? As a matter of fact, there's no rooms in there either, and that's so the squatters can't move in. I've thought of everything.
In a strange way, this satirical idea is culturally relevant. It's something that development companies would do today with echoes of those Chinese ghost cities, where they're built and no one lives in them. Because the goodies themselves are living in Kew Gardens, they get buried under the concrete. They are stuck there for the rest of the episode, which plays out like the COVID-19 lockdown. Running low on food, hallucinations, finding religion, among other things. They phone call the Ministry of Works, which has to finish building
Croydon Ring Road, 22, the North Wales Scenic Route, Coventry Circular, then they can finish the Brighton to Birkenhead Freeway.
Because the country is too poor, they don't finish the construction works. Then the phone and the TV halt operations.
No!
Never mind, don't worry, as long as we got the old telly.
And finally, a service announcement. The BBC have announced a cutback of 100%.
They are now on their own with no contact from the outside world. They discuss the class system, stating that because Bill is working class, he has to wash the shoes. They then discuss being gay.
Let's face it, for the next 3 years, we three are doomed to be bachelors gay.
And parenthood.
But a man isn't a man unless he exercises his right to fatherhood. You can exercise it all you like, but you won't find much use for it.
When I watched this episode as a kid, I did not understand that joke at all. Then they find religion. Graham becomes a monk who talks to Tim, who is now Jewish.
Pass me a knife, would you? You're not gonna... No, I am not! I'm just making matches, that's all.
Yes, I believe that was a circumcision joke. In a kid's show. Bro, this episode is so funny. I'm having such a good time. What could possibly go wrong? Well, let's find out the religion of Bill.
I done got religion. I've become a black Muslim. From now on, you will address me kindly by my holy name, Restus Watermelon.
Oh no. Oh, very no. But seriously, that's the other thing about this episode. It also features the most racist moment in the goodies. Racism is not good, D. There's no defending this. From my perspective, it's a cheap joke that's not funny and shows how prevalent racism is in the 1970s, especially on the BBC. After all, the racially insensitive The Black and White Minstrel Show was still airing at this point in time. It's a snapshot of 70s culture that should be forgotten, but we need to be reminded that it did exist at one point. As for the rest of the story, they end up growing old, playing I Spy with a chair, and dying. Whereas some parts of the episode are brilliant, other parts make me think, no, don't do that. Why are you doing that? Ultimately, when I watch it, I think back to COVID in 2020 and 2021. It features all of the stages of lockdown desperation. I mean, we didn't need the furniture, but we came damn close. The 70s social commentary, being somewhat relevant today, is really interesting. It's just a shame about the racism. Racism just ruins everything, as it should. So that's the video, but wait! For every sub I get before the end of the year, I will do 10 push-ups. That's how confident I am that no one's gonna look at this. And also, don't forget to ring that bell. It's a great bell, one of a kind, very elusive. So I will see you next week. Goodbye.
落ちる夕日密かな寂しさ